Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Conversation. And today I'm privileged enough to be in conversation with Father Uche Felix Asogwa, a priest of the Catholic Diocese of Nsukka, who has taken the social media by storm in the last couple of years with his apostolate of Make Love Go Viral, the MLGV. And today we are going to talk about a very important topic that is so much connected with this apostolate of love, and that is media, creativity, and the culture of love. So, Father, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. It's a beautiful day. It's sunny, new day, new opportunity. So we thank God for another day.
You know, one thing I admire about you is that you have this golden voice that everyone wants to hear whenever you create content on YouTube. And also, you are this perfect artist who draws a lot of amazing things. And also, you are a perfect musician who sings so well. How come you came about developing these talents?
I wouldn't, thanks for the compliment, but I wouldn't know about the word perfect, the qualification. I know I do my best, but at the end of the day, I think it's more about God than about me. You just find yourself growing up with certain gifts and talents, and it's clear to you these things came from God, and all you have to do is to try to hone those talents that you have been given. I don't know if I've shared it with you before, but I come from a family of artists. My dad was an artist. All the boys in my house are artists. That's my siblings. It's only my sister and my mom who don't even know how to. I don't know. Let me can know you have them. Then I have two graduate uncle artists as well. So it's something that runs in the family. So when you have that gift and then God blesses you with a beautiful voice like you said, I've received compliments, I won't lie, then it's also an added advantage because you bring in that creativity into the audio aspect of your creations as well, whether it's songs or audio for videos, whatever. So it's about gift and then recognizing those gifts and working with them to hone them.
That's okay. And as a way to lighten up things, we are in the month of love, February,
Yeah.
and it's Valentine's month. So, can I ask you what you received as a Valentine's gift?
Okay, yeah, the month of February is always a very special month for me. And people have come to associate me with love, anything that has to do with love. So when we came into the month of January, people were like, hey, Father Love, how far? Now your month be this. So even on Valentine's, they were like, now your feast day be this. So how we go celebrate them? Probity called me on the phone like, Father Love, last time I wanted us to really celebrate this and you were not available. Just tell me where you want to go. Tell me what you want to eat. Let's go and celebrate love. It's your feast day. And I'm like, I'm really busy. And this year, I didn't really get to get gifts. I received more of questions than Valentine presents because in the years past, every Valentine's we would come out with a new MLGV gear design, whether it's t-shirt or hoodie, whatever, or some other accessories, So this year, people were like, we're not going to get new shirt this year. Which design we go rock this year and all that and all that. I received a few messages, but then it was more of questions about what's going on. We know they feel MLGV vibe for this year Valentine or so that, but it was a beautiful day at the end of the day. That was nice.
Yeah, you are so much visible on the social media with this MLGV apostolate, and your cloth is worn over Nigeria, also abroad in US, the whole of Europe and America. How does that make you feel to see these people wear your clothes all over the world?
It's always a beautiful thing when people are receptive of your brainchild, your creation, and they're able to run with it. Because at the heart of every creative venture is the hope that it adds value to people's lives. And one of the things we've done with the MLGV gear is to try to preach love through the designs on these shirts. And not just love, but faith and things that will make you generally a better person. Like the one you're wearing is Love More. This is love conquers, to tell us whatever happens, just keep loving. There is with God we shall do bravely. There is do everything in love. And I personally believe in visual reminders. Like when you see this, it reminds you to do. I've had people come to me and tell me that they were wearing the MLGV shirt, and when they saw people that needed help, they felt like it was their obligation to live out what they are showing the people with the shirt that they are wearing. So it's a beautiful thing to see people across the world wear the MLGV shirt. And I thank NIPOST, really, because people have been asking me, like, how do you send these shirts abroad? How do they receive them? People don't know that NIPOST is still working. But NIPOST does work. If you go to courier services like DHL, like whatever other kinds of express services, they are very exorbitant. But if you go through NIPOST, they register your mail and it gets to whichever part of the world you want to send it to. So it's really a beautiful feeling knowing that people are getting value from the messages that we put out there, and encourage us so to live a life of love by the MLGV gear that we put out.
So let's go back a little bit to the past. How did you come about this creative magic that bettered everything surrounding the MLGV?
Okay, like I already said, I was born an artist, let me put it that way. And my dad always had cameras. My dad was this kind of person that he drew the map of my village that was even non-existent. Like he would move around in the evening with his camera, take pictures, he would come home and label those pictures, and years later, he would still go back to those particular locations, take pictures, and you're like seeing this place in 1990, let's say 81, and you're seeing that same place in 1991, you know. So trying to go down that same path. I started having cameras when I was little as well, you know. I was documenting. I have so many videos from my spiritual year where we're doing all kinds of work outside the seminary and all that. So when I was doing my 1 year apostolic work after philosophy, I was commissioned to make a set of Stations of the Cross paintings for the new cathedral, even though at the end of the day we used sculptural pieces for the Stations of the Cross. But I was originally meant to paint those Stations of the Cross. So one of those nights when I was making that, when I was working on the set of paintings, I was tired. It was like in the middle of the night, let's say early in the morning, like say 3 a.m. or something, and I felt tired. I felt I needed a break. There was this book that Father Smasher gave me, Stories for the Heart. I was like, instead of going to sleep, let me just see if I could read 1 or 2 stories. Then I read one particular story that really touched me, like tugged at my heart. So I said, let me share this with people. And since I'm not that writing type of person, I'm more of a visual audio kind of person. So I said, let me record this and post on Facebook. So I just pulled out my phone, put it on the easel that I was painting on, and recorded the video. Talked about the story, the lessons that I learned from that story. And that particular video got me speaking engagements in like 2 or 3 different places. We were like, wow, this is amazing. Come and talk to my students. I like this. Come and talk to my parish people and all that and all that. So in my mind, I was like, if people could resonate with videos this way and we really want to pass messages across, why don't we keep making videos? You know, so that was how I started recording videos. And in the beginning, I didn't even know what to call it, because I was in my studio the first time that I made a video. I started calling it my studio timeout. And then a girl from Cameroon who was following me on social media sent me a message one day like, why it seems you're always talking about love. What kind of relationship do you have with love? Like, why are you always talking about love? That was when I even had time to backtrack on my videos to notice that really every single thing that I talked about had something to do with love in one way or the other. But I knew I was just doing something that was coming from within. You know, so that was when I now started looking for an umbrella name to encapsulate the whole idea of spreading love. You know, even the logo, I needed to capture that idea of love being free and flying without boundaries. So I wanted the heart with wings like a bird. So I did certain drawings, and I talked with Sheyi, started with him, then ended with a Somto. So the final version of the MLGV logo came from Somto. I could do the drawing thing, but then I couldn't do the really digital aspect of it, So Sheyi and Somto, if you are watching this video, thank you. You guys made this happen, and it's something that everybody that has seen has come to appreciate and love. So that's pretty much the story about the MLGV thing.
So, listening to you, Father, I can discover that creativity stood at the very foundation of the birth of everything surrounding the MLGV.
Yeah.
So, what creative process would you advise young people to get into in order to totally execute their own ideas too, just as you did?
I want to believe that every human being has some level of creativity in them, but people have this at different degrees. But technology has made it possible for us to have access to a creative aspect and assistance in creativity that we never had in the past. Like these days, you don't even need to really know how to draw before you can use CorelDRAW or design flyers and posters or even make videos. It's true that when an artist makes a video and a regular person makes a video, you always see there's some kind of difference. But I think the important thing is to be able to get that message out there. We all have something in us that we wish to share with the world, and it is through these inspirations that we receive from God that we keep transforming the world. So my bishop said something sometime about this prayer: "Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of the faithful. Send forth your spirit, and they shall be created, and thou shalt renew the face of the earth." And he said that it is the work of God to send the Holy Spirit. Now, when we receive the Spirit, it is now our duty to renew the face of the earth. So I bring that into the creative aspect of our lives, that we receive inspirations from God, and the values the value we put out into the world are the things through which we try to renew the earth. So when you have this thing within you, there are so many avenues this day that you can put it out to the world, whether it is video form or on the social media. Some people may not be creative in terms of drawing and in visual arts, but they can write and put out their ideas out there. The important thing, the way I understand it, is to be able to share the values and the inspirations that you have received from God with the world. And technology is there to help us. So even if you are not gifted naturally, there are so many softwares and templates you can use and put out your ideas out there in the world. So it's a very simple process right now.
So I just got a line from what you say, that technology is there to help us execute our creative ideas. Yeah. And let me also ask you, with its many porous nature, people looking out for sensationalized topics rather than valuable ideas that can spur creativity, do you think the social media is actually helping us being creative?
I think it is, like in a very huge way, like big time. But the thing with the internet and the social media is that it's so good that it can also be abused to a very high extent. It's more about the values you want to get from these things. Where in the past, when people wrote articles, they depended on newspapers and publications, and some people were going to media houses every now and then to see if they could get an opportunity of having a column or something of that sort. But these days, all you need to do is hop onto Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, whatever, and you can share your ideas, not just in your locality, but with the world. And like there is no limit so long as someone is on this planet Earth. So I think it is a very huge thing that the internet and the social media is doing for us. It's left for us to use it wisely and avoid all kinds of crazy negative addictions.
So further, also looking at the social media, it seems there are a lot of noise coming out from social media, and then also people are looking out for either statuses on WhatsApp to watch, and then looking out for pictures to watch or videos to watch on Instagram, and also looking out for sensationalized topics on Facebook. So there are it seems there are a lot of noise coming out from the social media as working against the calmness of soul. We should develop that should help us also to make reasonable judgments, towards developing our own creativity. So, do you think that social media retreat is possible? Like at some point we got to retreat, find our own energy and then go back more ready to face what is on the internet?
There are so many sides to what goes on the internet. When you talk about, checking out pictures, posting your own pictures, it boils down to the things that we attach values to. Because the danger is when you go out there and see what people are posting, you don't understand they are posting the best versions of their lives and themselves, and sometimes the fake versions of themselves as well. And you think that these things are real. Some people have been drawn into depression, or rather pushed into depression because of the things they see on the social media. They think every other person has it good, but we are the ones that are suffering, So if it's about that, I think it's more about discipline. Because I wouldn't, definitely, as somebody that uses the social media on a daily basis, I don't think I would advise retreating from social media. I think I would advise using it with caution and discipline, so that you use when you are supposed to reach out to people you're supposed to reach out to on the social media. And somebody said the people that you follow on social media matter a lot. They determine the thoughts you have through the day, because it is the things you come in contact with, the conversations you have, the things you receive, you put into yourself, that create some of these images and even spoil creativity, So if you are a creative person and you follow creative people on the social media, it helps boost your own creativity. And there are so many beautiful creators that you can get ideas. I know how I watch videos and I'm like, wow, I like how the background music blends with the scene that is taking place at the moment, how the lighting is able to show us really the mood of the actors. And we learn from those things, that when I now want to make my own videos, I try to borrow from those ideas and make my videos look better, so that when you watch your videos through the years, you definitely notice some kind of improvement. But people are not the same. If you're the kind of person that when you get into the social media, like, you forget about time, you forget about you even putting out content, you're only consuming other people's content, then you need to step back a little and understand that you are meant to create and put out into the world as well, not just consuming. Because at a point you could consume something that would take you to places you wouldn't want to go.
So as a follow-up to that, how would you reconcile also the paradox that social media has become an avenue, creating avenues for people to get exposed to some opportunities they initially didn't have access to, and also the fact that the social media also has contributed to moral decadence? Nowadays we hear of sex tape leaking, cybercrime, Yahoo fraud, and cyberbullying also. So how would you reconcile this paradox?
You know what they say, when something is so good, it can, I think I've said that before, it can be abused at a very high level. It depends on where you want to approach it from. The social media has given us access, the internet generally has given us access to things that we never dreamt we would have access to. And sometimes it is beautiful, like for creative people, you go up on the internet, you find creative videos and tutorials, like in-depth tutorials. You find templates you can work with if you can't create them. You find groups of photographers and videographers on Facebook, on the internet. There are master classes and things like that. Some of them are free. Some of them you pay for, and even those that you pay for, when you compare the monetary equivalent to the values that you get from them, you will realize that it is nothing but something that's been given to you on a platter of gold. And on the flip side of it, about moral decadence, the social media kind of like opened up our minds to what human beings have been like. Now we are so in touch with stories about divorce, about immorality. Sex is no longer like an issue. If you're a virgin these days, people look at you like, Within this one, they even try talk because these are the things we see on the social media, and we think this is how life should be, you know. And because the devil is also working with this beautiful gift that God has given us to see how to thwart the intentions of God for us when it comes to the internet, you see people who we believe are credible, people we see as celebrities, people we see as influencers as well, that we believe that they have come to understand what life is about, and they are giving us the wrong thing. And people who don't really understand their moral footing in life see it as these guys are the examples we have, we need to follow them. If sex is no longer a thing, then why would I be the only person trying to run away from that? So at the end of the day, I think it's about trying to understand the values you want from the internet. You can be anything you want to be on the internet. You can grab any values you want to grab. It's about the discipline, knowing that no, I shouldn't go this way. I am supposed to go this way. So I would say that you have access to something does not necessarily mean you have to access that thing if it doesn't help you in any way.
So these days, if it is not about streaming a live video of a dying victim by our roadside, it could be also sharing pictures of acts of generosity people extended to less privileged ones in our society. Yeah. With all these, would you say that the social media is helping us live out truly what it means to love?
When you talk about making videos of like people dying or tragic sceneries, what comes readily to mind is that video of Dr. Akonyele, yeah, Dora's husband. I could not believe myself when I watched that video, because that guy was shot at the instant that he was struggling to live and gasping for breath. Somebody had that, whatever it was in them, to flip out their phones and make a video of a dying person. A normal human being should be in shock, transfixed and dumbfounded, but that person was busy making a video. And sometimes they make these things because they believe when you're the first to post on social media, you get likes and comments, and after that, what happens? There was a video that I made sometime. I was asking, how would you feel if you realized or saw the news of your dad's death on the social media? Like you are at work and all of a sudden on somebody's status, you see RIP Mr. Asogwa or Mr. whoever, Samora, and it's your dad. Like, how are you going to feel about it? We live in a culture where we value human life, and death really hits us like so hard. Such that when you lose a beloved one, people have to find a way to come to your place to talk to you about life, about accepting tragedy, just to predispose you to that news that someone you really loved had passed away, you know. So it's not something that is a thing we should continue with. It's something we should really discontinue and try to understand. It's not about the likes. This is humanity we are talking about. That is not love. Then on the other side about posting videos and pictures and writings of charitable ventures and all that, at the end of the day, I think it boils down to intentions. Like really intentions. You know, it's easy to stand where you are, judge somebody, condemn them. I keep saying this in church, throw them into prison, lock that prison and throw away the key. And there is this story that I always tell them. I was driving down Total Roundabout someday and I had an itch on my neck. I wanted to scratch that itch, so my hand was this way. Of course, when you're answering a phone call, your hand is this way. So the bike man just rode past me and he said, "Idiot, inayamoto na azako." You know, like that I was driving and on the phone at the same time. At that point, I didn't even know where my phone was. But anybody looking at me from the outside could swear that I was answering a phone call or talking with somebody on the phone. I wasn't. So when you are judging from a distance, it's always a very difficult thing to do. Why I say this is I've been involved in activities like that where we made posters and flyers and reached out to people to help the less privileged. When I do charity, something that I can offer personally, I don't need to show it on the social media. I don't. But when you are organizing these events, it's not something you can carry on your own. You need people's help. It has to be there. There are people who want to help, but they are looking for credible associations and people that they can work with. Now, when you go out and do these things and post on social media, you're just being accountable to the people that actually helped you achieve this feat. So for me, I don't care what people think, so long as this person is suffering, I am able to alleviate their suffering. However they see it, that is their own problem. But if I do it because I want people to see me and say that I am a good person, you know, then I think I am moving off the grid, and no, that is not love together. So it boils down to intentions. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, thank you, Father, for this wonderful session with you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
for
Thank
your
you for
insightful
having me.
messages.
Thank
And if you're
you.
following us, do hit the subscribe button.
Make sure you
Catch
subscribe.
up with our series of The Conversation. Thanks for watching. Peace. And do make sure you
Thank
make
you.
love.
Go viral. That's the way to live. Don't forget that. Thank you.